If you're a long-time subscriber, then you probably know that I have a love-hate relationship with the Nintendo 64. Back when we started this channel, I definitely hated it more than loved it, but as time has passed, I've grown to have a more neutral view and perspective of it. I still don't like it. Honestly, my opinion on the console hasn't changed that much, even as I've played more of the games and done more research. I think other than the Wii, this is definitely the most divisive Nintendo product, and I think it's time you knew why. I'm Tom from Nintendo Extremists, and today I'll be telling you why the Nintendo 64 is overrated. Let's get the obvious thing out the way here. The controller sucks. Like, what the hell is this? The 3-prong setup is just crap. How are you supposed to hold it properly? Like, there's just no need for the joystick to be out the way like it is. And speaking of the PS1, it is so much better in every way. Now, everyone knows the story of Nintendo and Sony making a console together, but Sony had more rights to it, which then meant Nintendo then went behind the back to make a deal with Philips to create a console, and then Sony just decided to make one out of spite. And that ended up becoming the PS1, which just so happened to become the first video game system to ever sell 100 million units. And then what did Nintendo Philips produce? The CDI, which is just the best console of all time. Since 3D gaming was starting to become the norm, games needed more space in order to actually be good. What did Nintendo do instead? Well, they continued to make cartridges, because we all love cartridges. And that is why there's hardly any third-party support on the N64, because there simply just wasn't enough space for developers to import their games. Again, the PS1 just completely switched on the N64 here, because they actually made discs. I mean, even the Sega Saturn had discs. Nintendo, come on! And also, cartridges, they were also more expensive to produce, which is another reason why third-party developers basically told Nintendo to go and fuck themselves, and then went to go and play on the swing with Sony. Looking back, it was just overall just a bad move from Nintendo, as the cartridges had less space and were more expensive to produce, meaning that N64 games cost way too much money to buy compared to PS1 and Sega Saturn games. Now, since those consoles both used discs, they were cheaper to produce and thus were cheaper to buy. It also meant there was long waits between N64 games, and that's why going into 1998 and having the console out for almost 2 years at this point, there were very few good games available for the console. And even speaking of long waits, the console itself was delayed twice. The console was originally supposed to release in the winter of 1995, but wasn't released in Japan until the following summer. And even then, Europe and Australia didn't get the console until the spring of 1997. Nintendo, what is this? Why are you being so difficult, bro?
Hey guys, Matt here. I bet you weren't expecting me, but since Thomas forgot to plug in the Discord, I'll do it myself. Well, basically, if you like Nintendo and you like discussions, make sure to join the Nintendo Extremists Discord server. We are frequently active on there and we're getting new members by the day. So basically, we'd love to see you there, and with that said, let's get back into the video.
I think it's time we talk about the games, and they're not the best. I think it says a lot that most SNES games that came out in the early 90s have aged much better than the N64 ones that came out in the late 90s and then early 2000s. Now, the library itself isn't even that good. However, I will be excluding the Zelda games from this because they are the two of the best in the whole franchise, so yeah, they're fine. But the rest is just meh. Now the Pokemon spin-offs, you know, you can't have your own opinion on these, I just don't think they're that good. And the Mario games, they're fine, but they just control poorly. I'm looking mostly at you, Mario 64 here. And they also didn't make Metroid 64 or Earthbound 64, like they promised they would do in that one Nintendo Power copy, which is older than me and Matt combined, but whatever, I'm so sad about that. And instead of those games, we got Superman 64, which is by far the worst video game of all time. And it's also why Marvel are better than DC. Argue with you now about that. Rare carried the N64, because they made some absolutely brilliant games for this system, including Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, Conker's Bad Fur Day, the Banjo games, Blast Corps, and GoldenEye. Now, ask yourself this: without those games I just mentioned there, would the N64 still be regarded as highly as it is today? I don't think so. Now, speaking of Donkey Kong 64, you needed the expansion pack in order to actually play it. well, that's kind of a lie. I mean, you can still play fine without the pack, but if you wanted to play the game without any certain bugs, then yeah, you needed it. And you also need the pack to play Majora's Mask, because going back to the earlier problem about having enough content on cartridges, there's just so much content that Japan released for the N64 that they only got, and the rest of the world didn't. Now, if you thought them getting every game first was unfair, they also got the most games out of everybody, and also got certain controllers that have a much better design than what we got, and they also cost hundreds of dollars to actually buy and be exported over to your country. Favoritism much? Whew, that was intense. I'm glad I got that off my chest, and now you all know why I don't like the N64. You also need to know that this video is completely satire, and like my other overrated videos, it should not be taken seriously at all. Now, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you are new, feel free to subscribe so that you never miss any future videos. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified the second we upload a video. I have been Tom from Nintendo Extremists. I'll catch you all next time.